Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? I've been paying attention to this FTX crypto debacle. It's really crazy to follow along. I find it hard that a company could exist like FTX without any kind of red flag popping up and this company not being looked into. So I guess what's confusing me about cryptocurrencies is this, or even exchanges. Before these people launch their companies, don't they have to go through some type of government check to find out how legit they are? You know, making sure that they have money to support the cryptocurrencies. I mean, I understand there's regulations out there now, and rightfully so, as much as I was against it. What kind of background checks are being done on these crypto owners? Can I just go out there and make up a Pimpy freaking crypto and make all kinds of false claims on it and build up a fancy website and then lo and behold become a billionaire? I mean, is it that simple? If that's the case, I wonder why people are jumping in on this bandwagon and robbing people of billions of dollars. But it seems to me like the government should be aware of what's going on. So either they're complicit in what's going on, or they are allowing this to happen to use later on down the line as their excuse to get rid of cryptocurrencies. And these are some of the fears that I have. People that have been watching my videos for a long time know that I've stressed these types of concerns. I was expecting them to pretty much die. But I think what the government's going to do is use all these different cases as an excuse to regulate it and then force everybody into the central bank digital currency, claiming that it's much safer and the government is more reliable than these other companies. Before you get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, and now is the time, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Now, this is one thing that I think is interesting. FTX is a partner of the World Economic Forum. Now, why didn't the World Economic Forum do any kind of due diligence before pumping up this cryptocurrency? This is why I think this whole thing is suspicious. World Economic Forum is a group of billionaires and millionaires that think they're better than us and are the new world order and think they can manage the world and the people a lot better than the governments are doing. But yet they allow and endorse a cryptocurrency like FTX to be a partner with them. I mean, what kind of due diligence are they doing? Could anybody just become a partner and you just make up whatever and then end up on their website? I'm just shocked and find it hard to believe that these people had no idea what was going on with FTX. I mean, these are the people that rule the world, but yet they can't do any due diligence and find out the truth about this company, or are they complicit in it? I mean, I think they're using the company to funnel money through to fund all their nifty little projects, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This comes out too, look at this break-in. FTX had a backdoor built into its accounting software by Sam Bankman-Fried, which he used to move billions without triggering alerts to other staff, auditors, etc. Comes from Reuters. How is that even possible with today's technology? And where did that money go? This is why I'm saying, how come nobody ever did an audit of this company before they allowed them to get this big and this out of control? I find it just a little bit suspicious. His story's all over the place. And like I was saying the other day, that most likely is what's having an effect on the cryptocurrencies. Yet a huge black eye again for cryptocurrencies. First the Terra Luna coin, and now FTX. At least Terra Luna, the classic, did a smart thing and got rid of the founder and turned it over to the community. And the coin seems to be trying to regenerate its credibility and become valuable again. But you hear me say it from time to time, high tide lifts all ships, but what happens when you get a low tide? All the same ships go down. So Bitcoin's down to $16,547. Ethereum is now at $1,228. You got XRP at 34 cents, Cardano's at 33 cents, Dogecoin's at 8 cents, Polygon's at 84 cents. Polkadot is at $5.79. Solana dropped all the way down here. Now, the weird thing about Solana is it lost 57% of its value one day and then almost gained it all back the next day. What the heck? If you were lucky enough to jump on that bandwagon, you made out like a champ. But Solana is sitting here at $13.97. Shiba added another zero, so it's back to 5091. Look, I do believe there are some legitimate cryptocurrencies out there. One of them is Ethereum for sure. Everybody heard me speak about Ethereum over and over again. Bitcoin obviously is the other one. As far as the other cryptos are concerned, you know, it's a crapshoot. But the other two cryptos, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have longevity, they have experience, they're constantly working on new projects, they have the money to support themselves. Founders have been examined over and over. So of course those two cryptos seem very safe. But the rest of them, you know, they're pretty questionable. The reason why I hold Shiba, why I hold Luna Classic, why I hold on to Satama, that's because I was able to pick up so many of them for so little money that it was worth the risk for me. If cryptos go on another run, great. That means those cryptos will go up significantly if they manage to go on another run like they've done before. If Bitcoin starts to get anywhere near its all-time high, that means the rest of the cryptos are right behind it. That means the other cryptos that I took a gamble on, you can see some huge gains, and so it's worth the risk for me. I just use discretionary funds. But as far as actual investing in any of these cryptos, I mean, I wouldn't risk it. If you got discretionary funds and you want to just take a chance at jumping on some cryptos, hoping that it'd go up, that's what I did. But I used to invest in cryptocurrencies. I had a lot of them, and I don't no more. But if I was going to go back into investing, obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum would be the only two I'd be interested in, especially Ethereum, in investing in. I believe Ethereum has the ability to not only catch Bitcoin, but pass it in value. It has way more use cases, and the owner continues to expand its empire. So it's just something to think about. Speaking of Luna Classic, here we are. It is at 3017. So it's still bouncing around the same range. Even with everything that's going on out there in the crazy world, I was expecting that once FTX, the whole story and scandal broke out in the media, that it would have a serious toll on Luna Classic, but it actually didn't. It dropped slightly like everybody else, but nothing else. So I've been keeping an eye on this, and I'm hoping that it rebounds because I can make some pretty good gains off that. Speaking of, here's Satama. Now they added a zero. They're 3094. Every time Satama starts to make a tiny run, something always happens. Look at this drop right here. It dropped all the way down to 3089 and then rebounded quickly. So that's Satama for you, but they don't die, and I don't give up on them. I just continue to hold on to them and see what happens over time. Of course, the market's closed, and I showed you that the silver was at $21.70. Sometime around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock tonight, California time, you'll start to see the market open up on gold and silver. I'm curious to see if they're going to continue to go up, especially in light of everything that's going on with cryptocurrencies. People are starting to wake up to the fact that, one, there's a precious metal shortage, and two, these are the true safe havens. I don't know about cryptocurrencies or not. So will silver go up or will they get smashed down? Usually when they start to make a run like this, especially getting so close to $22 an ounce, you'll see the powers that be come in and just crush them. So we'll keep an eye and see what happens tonight. The same with gold. I mean, gold is at $1,771 at the close on Friday. Are they going to allow it to get anywhere over the $1,800 mark? And we're going to find out. We'll find out real quick as soon as the market's open later on. So here's an interesting article. It says all custodial crypto exchanges should adopt proof of reserve programs. But even that isn't enough. Proof of reserves, how come the government isn't going in there to find out whether or not the people have the money to back up their supplies? They should have already been doing this. Again, there's something about cryptocurrencies I find very fishy. I've always been suspicious of the existence of cryptocurrencies, thinking they were developed for a whole other reason. And that was to get people adopting and used to using tokens or cryptocurrencies or digital dollars so that they could then turn around and ease them into the central bank digital currency, which you don't want. So it says right here, last week FTX, once the third largest crypto exchange by volume. Wow. So FTX was the third largest crypto exchange by volume, owned by Sam Bankman-Fried, he just looks like an idiot. Seriously, when you hear him talk, I don't know how the hell they managed to pull this off. Either our government was complicit in this, because I'll show you what his agenda was and what he was in the middle of doing. I'm talking about Sam himself. Or our government is just that inept when it comes to making sure our money is safe. So it says on November the 2nd, CoinDesk Scoop showed that Alameda Research, SBF's quantitative crypto trading firm, had a funny looking balance sheet. CoinDesk is like a internet news. They write articles about cryptocurrencies. And they found what was going on with the funny looking balance sheets. Okay. Then on November 6th, so the founder of the largest crypto exchange, Binance, announced his firm would sell all of the FTTs and FTX's exchange tokens, more on that below, that it had. So it was getting rid of them. It was dumping them. It knew something happened. The FTX claimed that there was no issues with FTX. Then FTX price tanked. So how did the CEO of Binance know to sell cryptos right before it tanked? Again, something fishy there. And then it says, then we get the headline, FTX agrees to sell itself to rival Binance amid liquidity scare at the crypto exchange. My guess is then you start to see the price go back up. I'm only guessing. And then the Binance owner got rid of all of them. So that's why he made this announcement that they were thinking about it, but then turned around and dumped it. It says, I think it's more accurate to attribute FTX fall to a solvency issue rather than a liquidity scare, which just means FTX owed people some money and it couldn't pay people. But that doesn't really matter, because this potential purchase was subject to due diligence. Really, you don't say. So if you're going to buy the company, well, then you get to look into them. But what about when they form? Anyways, we know what happened from there. It all fell apart. I think this is funny to see headlines like this. Tom Brady and Stephen Curry's crypto firm is bankrupt. They act like they're the founders and that these people are behind the development of this cryptocurrency. All they did was invest into it, and I'm sure what they were was promised by the founder a large amount of the cryptocurrencies for them to turn around and then endorse it and encourage other famous people to buy the cryptocurrency, which we see all the time. You see people going after like the Kim Kardashian and other celebrities because a crypto exchange or cryptocurrency tanked. All they're doing is endorsing them. They don't know crap about cryptocurrencies. So this headline I thought was interesting. They make it sound like these two people put this company together. They're invested into the company, but that's it. Almost this whole article talks about the fall of XTX. And at the very bottom, it talks about how both Brady and Curry invested into the company. Well, if you buy an FTX crypto, then you're invested into the company. So I think the headlines is just ridiculous. So here we go. Bankman-Fried's assets plummet from $16 billion to zero in days. And nobody saw this coming except for the CEO of Binance magically happened to know. No government saw this happening. No watchdog was keeping an eye on this company. I would have thought when you got to a certain level, especially when you're dealing in the billions of dollars of other people's money, that you would have some type of government agency, a watchdog, keeping an eye on you. I mean, we got the IRS keeping an eye on our $500 or more transactions at our banking account, but you can't keep an eye on a $16 billion company? Okay. So the entire $16 billion fortune of former FTX co-founder Friedman had been wiped out. So just for the record, he didn't actually have $16 billion lying around. It's just on paper for the most part. So it's gone. Gone in a matter of a couple of days. The same thing that happened with Terra Luna. So, of course, now you see them filing bankruptcy, and this will absolve them of all the investors that got robbed. The average Joe or Joan that was encouraged by something that Brady said or Curry said or anybody else said. Mostly the media hyping them up. They're screwed. And they find that this guy had a backdoor software that allowed him to steal billions of dollars without anybody knowing. So the money went somewhere. Well, I can tell you where a big chunk of it went. I'll show you here in just a moment. So they're filing bankruptcy, of course. So where could most of that money have went? Like I said, I really think a lot of times governments allow this to happen and they use it to funnel large amounts of money through these crypto exchanges, make a big deal about it, and then nothing really happens to the owners. Look at this. FTX Sam Bankman-Fried backs down from dumb quote about giving $1 billion to political races. Not political races, to the Democrats. He was giving money to the Democrats. That's the pledge he made. He said he's going to give up to $1 billion to make sure that the Democrats win the midterms. And then magically, after midterms are over, then we find out all these things about the FTX. Isn't that something? So no, he didn't give $1 billion, but he did manage to give out $40 million for midterms. $40 million that went all to Democrats. That doesn't sound suspicious. So were politicians protecting this guy while they funnel money through him? And now that the gig is up, they're going to throw this guy under the bus? Is that what's going on? Because it seems like something that our government would do. Well, it wasn't just that this guy was giving away money to the Democrats that helped them win their elections. This guy was also giving money to a lot of the same things that are supported by the World Economic Forum. And this is why I think this guy has been able to get away with this fraud for so long, because of where he was giving his money away to. A shout out to Liberal Hivemind. He does great videos. I will leave a link to his YouTube channel. You guys go check him out. He's got great videos. I don't know whose research team is, but they do a phenomenal job. But let's listen in on all the different things that Sam was investing his money into, and that might explain why he was able to get away with it for so long. And it'll also explain why I believe a lot of these companies are just being used to funnel money for political reasons, as well as pushing agendas around the world. But this woman was in charge of the finances over in that company, and she's a total idiot. She was claiming that she only had to use elementary math to take care of the money, and she spotted all kinds of things that were questionable. So what do? You just give some idiot a ton of money to take care of one department that you know she's not capable of doing her job properly, so you can sneak everything underneath her nose and then just throw her under the bus. But anyways, let's get back to all the different programs and organizations that Sam was donating money to, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Sam Bankman-Fried in the 2020 and 2022 elections, being the second biggest mega donor for the DNC, right under George Soros. The left-wing media, of course, hailing him as a hero. Here he is on Chuck Todd's show.
And joining me now is Sam Bankman-Fried. He's the CEO of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX. You may have seen their TV ads occasionally, and one of America's youngest billionaires. And recently, he's used that money to become one of the biggest donors in this year's midterm elections.
Look at his foot bounce up and down over there. This guy knows that his entire existence is a fraud. I have no doubt about it. He looks nervous. He looks scared. His foot's bouncing. He doesn't like this type of attention. And when you hear this guy speak, you can just tell this guy don't know his butt from a hole in the ground. It really, truly was just a front, in my opinion.
Here's Politico before the election, how the newest mega donor wants to change Washington. But the title should be, how the Democrats' new mega donor wants to change Washington and change the world with money he stole from you.
The fact that these rich people are openly admitting that they're spending millions and even tens of millions of dollars to control our politicians, and America's asleep on this. Why aren't you demanding that this type of crap stop? You have George Soros, who's almost single-handedly changing the entire landscape of not just our country, but the world because of his money. But yeah, we just sit back like it's no big deal. As long as they're fighting for your team, you don't care. But this should piss everybody off.
But Sam is not a traditional billionaire because he believes in the concept of earn to give.
I mean, just look at this guy's face. He looks totally uncomfortable doing these interviews. Seriously, he's just the front man for a huge scam to funnel money through an exchange in order to support political movements.
Which means his goal as a human is to make as much money as possible just to give it away. Earn to give. And that's exactly what he's doing.
So let's say that you have $100 and you want to figure out what you can do with it to help the world. Earning to give is thinking about which causes, which charities save the most lives per dollar. This $100 can go as far as it possibly can to help the world.
Last year, this 29-year-old guy donated $50 million. Next year, he's planning to donate $500 million a year. And next decade, he will probably give away more than $10 billion.
And where is he giving that money to? to push the World Economic Forum's New World Order agenda.
The amount of good that you can do for the future of the world is really large, and it's way more than you can do to actually make yourself happy with anything like that amount of money.
And he is funding everything you can think of. Global warming,
It's one of the biggest problems that we have to tackle together as a world.
COVID-19 preparedness,
We have to be ready for the next pandemic.
neglected tropical diseases,
More than 1 billion people suffer from them. We have to eliminate these diseases.
and of course, animal welfare.
Animals deserve to live just like we do. It's also why I'm vegan.
Sam doesn't need the money to buy a Lamborghini or to buy a Rolex or to impress his friends. In fact, his car is a Toyota Corolla.
Hold on. Where's your car?
It's that one there.
That's like what, a Toyota?
Yeah, it's a Corolla.
Yeah, go ahead and show the world his license plate number, idiot.
To buy a Lamborghini, man.
It didn't have any particular need for one.
He wants to get rich in order to impact the world and change it.
Impact the world and change it. Yeah, sure he does. This guy is a front for a company that was used to funnel money to all types of political campaigns, as well as funneling money to the World Economic Forum's agenda. There's no way in how this guy could have gotten away with as much as he did without help from people who are connected politically. It's just not going to happen. I mean, the fact that the banks were somehow financing this, or he was able to get a bank to work with him for his exchange without them doing the due diligence. Come on now, people, use your brains. It's a fake front. They took billions of dollars from people who invested their money into this company and funneled it to all different types of projects is exactly what they did. And now, before the gig is up and people get exposed, they're just going to make them file bankruptcy. And then you're going to see the politicians run out there and go, oh, we need to do more to regulate cryptocurrencies. While the banks should have done their due diligence. The government, once this company started getting into billions, should have done their due diligence. The fact that this guy is just barely now being exposed tells me that without a doubt, our government, as well as the banks, were complicit in this, is what it was. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. I look forward to your comments, and I will get at you later. I'm out.